Been a while since I've been live, guys. I mean, like for the business, I've been live a couple times recently for the nonprofit, but it's been a minute and I'm really excited. I am going live today to talk about a couple things. I'm going to double check that we're actually live, but I really want to talk to you about something exciting happening tomorrow. If you haven't already seen it, the ADHD Income Accelerator is happening. Okay. And so I want to take this time to talk to you a little bit about, if you're an ADHD entrepreneur like me, you've probably told yourself, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure we're streaming and all the things we're actually connected. So let me know in the comments that you're here, that you're watching, where you're watching from, so I can make sure all the technical stuff is working, because I'm not going to lie, I had so many technical. I was supposed to be live at 12. Okay. That was my goal. And it's 12:44. Like the tech is just not there anymore. It's getting harder and harder to come live and do all these things. But if you're an ADHD entrepreneur like me, you probably have said to yourself, like, I know I'm capable of more, but I'm stuck in chaos, right? I'm stuck in chaos. And that is something that we struggle with as ADHD entrepreneurs. Okay. We struggle with planning to plan to plan to plan. We struggle with consistency. And the reason for that is because our energy is tied to our emotions. And we know that as someone with ADHD, emotions are not the same every day, right? We feel things harder. We overthink things. We overwhelm ourselves. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Okay. I'm not going to say something bold or something you don't know already. Okay. But I am going to say the things that you need to hear, because the odds are, if you're an ADHD entrepreneur like me, you know what to do, but you can't seem to bring yourself to do it for what, probably several reasons. Okay. Again, overthinking. We know that is a common struggle, is that we're always overthinking things. Maybe if you're like me, you probably are second guessing. You know what to do, but you second guess it because you deep down inside are angry with yourself. Maybe you feel guilty, like you're not doing enough. Okay. Your energy is just absolutely crazy some days, and your brain is brilliant and you are knocking things out. And then other days you feel like a hot mess. Your energy is unmatched. And so for us, by having the absence of a real system, the thing that is chewing up your momentum every single day, it's not your ADHD. Okay. Your ADHD is not the reason that your business feels like a hot mess. Okay. Your brain is brilliant again. And if you have, depending upon what your struggles are, particularly with ADHD, if you're like me, you probably feel some kind of guilt about how all your life you've been a high achiever. You've had people tell you you're so put together, you're so organized. They couldn't even tell, right? So I am teaching tomorrow inside the ADHD Income Accelerator how to fix this. Okay. Because I'll repeat this. The absence of a real system is the thing chewing up your momentum every single day. Okay. Every single day. And I think the live's working. Let me know in the comments if you're here, where you're watching from, so I can know. But tell me in the comments right now, what is something you are struggling with right now? Okay. If you're an ADHD entrepreneur like me, what is something you are struggling with internally? What is it? Is it feeling like you're not doing enough, right? I should be doing more. I could absolutely do more, right? You get to the end of the day and you're like, I didn't do enough every day. And a lot of times that's actually because of time blindness. All right. We very often get distracted. We start working on things that aren't even important. And the reason for that is not that we can't pay attention, because that's a huge misconception about ADHD. And I hate when people talk about that. It's not that we can't pay attention. It's how we pay attention to everything at one time. Everything feels either urgent or not important. Everything has to be done right now or never. And that is a very real struggle. And in business, as an entrepreneur, all that does is cause distractions, imposter syndrome, second guessing, putting things off, working on things that aren't actually going to make money in your business. Okay. So let's dive into this a little bit. I want to give you a little bit of, let you know a little bit about me for those of you that have never worked with me before, maybe never seen me live before. I want to tell you a little bit about me. Okay. So high achiever my entire life. I am very much achievement driven. I just want to knock things off my list. Like I have this long list of things that I want to do in my life, trophies, whatever that is, certifications. And I'm driven by those things. Like another accolade is going to do something, right? I'm driven by those things. And so as a high achiever, I have to force myself to look really good on paper, right? That's a daily thing. And so very often when people find out I am neurodivergent, they're like, there's no way. You're so organized. You're so put together. They don't see when I open the passenger door of my car, stuff's like falling out everywhere, right? Or the chaos on my desk that I have to try to rein every week. They don't see the energy it takes to look that put together, to feel that put together in front of people. And so I remember the exact moment I knew I could not run my business on vibes anymore. So if you're new here, I started my business in June of 2022. I've pivoted multiple times. I was in social media management already in corporate. So when I left my job in 2022, that's what I initially did. I did social media management and I hit six figures in less than 6 months in that business very quickly because I knew what I was doing. I had somewhat of an authority there already. I had some credibility there. I knew I had experience there. And so that's where I started. That lasted about a year when I realized I really want to help other people learn social media. And so that's when I really got into courses and coaching, hit six figures again in less than 6 months. And I share that not to impress you because there's people that have made way more than me online, but I share that to say I had to control my ADHD through that entire process. Right? Because every month I was ready to burn it down and start over, burn it down and start over, burn it down and start over. And so I remember the exact moment I knew I could not run my business that way anymore. And I was hustle, because when I get in hyper focus, it's over. Like I could build a bridge in a day. All right. Construction workers ain't got nothing on me, but I would burn out. And for like a week, it's like, I can't do anything. I can't move. I'm a potato, like nothing's happening. And so I was actually sitting outside my son's therapy appointment. If you don't know, I am an autism mom. That's why awesome is spelled the way it is. It's a name play on being an autism mom. And that's the entire reason I started my business. I needed flexibility to be able to make sure my son got to his therapy appointments. And so I was sitting outside one of his therapy appointments and 3 leads came into my inbox right there. In the therapy office, 3 leads, okay? 3 people saying, hey, I want to work with, I'm ready. I want to work with you. Like, give me the details. And for me, as an ADHD entrepreneur, I couldn't remember which one to follow up with. So I messaged all of them right there outside the therapy room. Hey, I'm actually at therapy with my son right now. Let me DM you when I get out of here and I'll walk you through it. I wanted to acknowledge that I got your message, but I like to voice memo. They were on TikTok, obviously. They were on Facebook, but I was like, I like to send a voice memo just so you can kind of get to know me and trust me. Let me DM you when I get out. Okay. And part of me did that to put them off because selling is hard with ADHD, right? We have this extreme fear of rejection. But then another part of me really wanted to make sure that I was available when the therapist came out. I was giving my son my full attention. Long story short, when I left there, I could not remember who to follow up with. Since then, I'd had my mini chat had went ding, 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 right? Had all these new people and I'm going, holy crap, who was I talking to? What did I tell them? Right? I could not rely on remembering because my brain had already thought of 35 things since I had those conversations. And so then I kind of felt like a fraud because I'm exhausted. I'm mad at myself. I'm going to lose sales. Then I feel guilty because I left somebody hanging, right? And it was from doing too many things at one time, but also trying to hold it all in my brain. And so the Post-its, the reminders, the launch strategy I created, the calendars, I can't even tell you how many planners are sitting up here right now. I keep them as a reminder of like, don't buy another damn planner. But I can't tell you how many planners I bought to get organized, right? Or how many like DMs or reminders I'd like scribbled on the back of a Chick-fil-A receipt. Okay. And if you've ever felt like you're that bottleneck in your own business because you don't have any systems, you're not alone and you're not broken. Okay. You're not broken. If you're an ADHD entrepreneur like me, it shows up in a lot of different ways in your business. So I want you to let me know in the comment section, how does it show up for you? Like, this is interactive. Okay. If you're on here right now and you're live, I want this to be interactive. I want you to tell me, right? Give me feedback here. But I want you to think about how it shows up for you every day. Because when you don't have systems in your business, when you don't have processes in your business that help you manage your ADHD, that is when you start that spiral of looking for another course to buy, looking of another offer to create, editing your lead magnet for like the 25th time, even though you haven't had anybody opt into the first one. You rewrite that same offer 10 times and you still don't post it. You batch content for 3 weeks, but then you actually never schedule it because you don't like it anymore. It doesn't feel good anymore, or you're second guessing it, right? Forget to follow up with the leads you were so excited about. You panic when it's time to actually launch something because it's not perfect enough. So then you tweak and you edit and you tweak and you edit and you spend 8 hours picking a new color because this chick went viral on Instagram and she uses this color. So now you need to use this color because that's going to be the magic trick. None of that matters, right? You scroll past your own systems in your Google Drive because you don't trust them anymore. How many Google Docs have you typed up and they don't even have a name? They're all untitled. Like, I tell you all this because this is daily, right? And especially if you have children like me, that just adds to your chaos. Now you're not just managing your own regulation, you're managing theirs, right? So you're not lazy and you're not flaky. You're just overloaded because you're still trying to run your business with memory and motivation instead of systems. And I hate to tell you this, but if you're an ADHD entrepreneur like me, energy is tied to emotions, and emotions are a roller coaster. Okay. Welcome to executive dysfunction. And so if your motivation is tied to your energy, it's going to look like a downward spiral. You've got to create momentum, not motivation. If you want to make sales in your business, if you want to have results in your business, if you want to finally feel like your business is working, okay, all this effort and energy you've put into it, you have to create momentum. And so if your business is built on energy, it will break when you do. It's that simple. It is that simple. And even if you are the most well-masked, well-put-together ADHD person, you're going to break. There's going to be a day you're going to break if you haven't already. You're probably close to burnout if you're listening to me talk about this. You've probably been at this for several months. You either haven't made a sale or you haven't made the sales you think you should have made based on the energy you've put in. And so now you're like, this is not even worth the energy. There's no result for it. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what changed for me, kind of give you a preview. And if you're just hopping on, tomorrow is the ADHD Income Accelerator Masterclass. It's an 1.5-hour masterclass with me, walking you through the 3 systems you need to make daily sales in your business every single day. It's $7. Like, you spent more than that this morning on a coffee, probably. Okay. $7. And I know there's going to be people that have never seen me before. Maybe I showed up on your FYP and you're like, okay, this is a sales trick. If there's anybody that's been around for a while, feel free to chat in the comments, but I know TikTok's algorithm's been wild these days. No, I literally give everything except my children away for $7. I know that sounded way worse when it came out of my mouth, but if you've ever been in one of my master classes before, you're going to leave with $700 in value, if not more. Okay. Just how it is. So here's what changed everything for me. I stopped trying to force that motivation. Okay. And I'm a pretty self-motivated person. As a high achieving ADHD woman, I am a pretty self-motivated person. Like I said, when something's on my goal sheet, I want it bad enough. Everything else goes to the wind until I get it. Okay. But I had to stop trying to force it. And I had to start building brain-based systems that supported me on days I didn't feel like showing up. So I'm going to give you a real life example. My husband and I are two totally different neurodivergents. And I'm sure he loves when I share all his business, but we're two totally different neurodivergents. I am the one that's like, let me plan to plan to plan. Okay. Kind of waste some time in between. And then I hyper focus until it's done. He is more like, I had a thought. Oh, let's do it. Like the impulsivity piece. I'm not a very impulsive person. I'm more analytical. So we're two totally different neurodivergents. But we decided last week we had a vacation plan for the 4th of July. And he's like, well, let's go ahead and go. We'll beat the traffic. He was really worried about the traffic and stuff. And he's like, let's just go ahead and head down there. He was going to work remote. I work from wherever I am. Let's just do it, right? And I'm sitting at my desk when he brings this idea to me. He walks in behind me. He's like, let's go. And I'm like, when? He's like, well, tonight. And I'm like, no freaking way. You know how much stuff I got to do to get ready? Like, it's not happening. We're not going tonight. And he's like, yep, we're going tonight. And, he starts packing everything. And for me, I'm like, oh, no. Like, I could not get motivated to leave if I wanted. And I felt like I was trying to force it. I'm like, oh, my kids want to go. They're ready to leave. They're screaming. They're jumping. They're excited. Okay. So then I get into this funk the first day of us traveling of like, I don't want to do nothing. I want to just sleep. I'm stuck in the van for 10 hours. Like, don't want to do anything. But it's a Wednesday and my business is open, right? And I got clients and I got paying customers. I got people that depend upon me. So I'm just like, I don't want to do anything today. Get me out of this van. My neck hurts from riding 10 hours. I'm bloated from all the gas station snacks, like, right? So here's what that looks like for me. On a day that I just cannot bring myself to do anything, I have lead capture systems that run while I sleep. Okay. Lead capture. And you probably have one too. If you've been in entrepreneurship online for a minute, you probably got some kind of opt-in. Is it working? That's my question. Okay. Because when people tell me, well, I already have that, I already know that. Okay. Well, is it working? If it's not, if it was, you probably wouldn't be watching my live, right? You'd be out there making sales. Just saying. Okay. I write nurture content and I have an absolute vault of content. Okay. At this point, I probably have 1,000 pieces of content in my vault. So on a day where I am just like, ugh, get me out of here. I just want to sleep. Boom. I could pull from my vault. Okay. And again, you might have a bunch of content ideas in your notes on your phone that have been there for like 8 months and still haven't gotten posted. You might even have 150 drafts. TikTok told me I have like 69 drafts still sitting there. I'm like, dang, okay, at least you got to post these. But I set it up. I could just pull from it, right? I have a system for that. I have a system for capturing my ideas. That's how I have a content vault. You get your best ideas in the shower, and then you forget it before you even get out, right? I have a system for that. And then I have sales systems that run on automation, not adrenaline. Okay, not adrenaline. Because the problem is, as ADHD entrepreneurs, we love dopamine. Our brain is always seeking dopamine. That's why you're watching a TV show and you're also playing on your phone at the same time, because the show is not peaking enough dopamine for you. Just how it is. If you are basing everything on dopamine and adrenaline, that's not sustainable because it's not always that way. And then it's also impulsive. And as a business owner, if you're changing things every single day, you're not going to have customers very long. So you need sales systems that run on automation, not adrenaline, okay, not dopamine. The dopamine is the reason that you keep building more lead magnets, even though the last 10 didn't work. The dopamine is the reason you bought another course yesterday, okay, probably an AI video course if I had to guess, to learn how to make AI generated videos. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to start selling this one. The one shift, okay, that will stop the guilt, that will stop the ghosting, that will make sales feel calm for you is setting up systems. And tomorrow in the ADHD Income Accelerator Masterclass, I'm breaking down the 3 systems I use to make sales every single day in my business as an ADHD entrepreneur without burning out. Okay. And so I'm going to tell you what you're going to walk away from it with. All right. And then let me see, what time are we at? Because I got a call in a little bit.